Today I will be showing you how to make this small Papermache Among Us crewmates. We're going to turn this to this. They're just sitting down. Look, that was so cute. They did it perfectly. I'm crying. I'm sorry. Anyway, here are the materials. First thing we have to do is to prepare your working surface. What I did was take an old illustration board and wrap it around with plastic wrap. The paper mache is sort of wet, so I wanted a surface that would be smooth so it's easier to work on and waterproof. It also makes for easier cleanup since you'll just take a tissue and wipe the surface of the plastic. See? Very easy. Next is the paper mache itself. First, dice newspapers, and by dice I meant cut them into very tiny pieces and put it in your bucket. Once you're done with cutting and hurting your hands, mix water and glue into the pile. The glue-water mixture has to be proportional to the amount of dice newspapers. The ratio of glue-water mixture to newspapers would be 2:1. There should be more liquid than solid since all of the papers should be wet with no dry pieces. If you think that the mixture is a bit grainy or dry, just add a bit of water and a dollop of glue. The consistency should be a moist mush of thick goop, but it shouldn't be runny. If it is, then you might want to squeeze it and drain a bit of the liquid. When the mixture is malleable and would hold shape, then it's ready. The base of the sitting crewmate looks like this. Fill in the shape. Get a clump of mache, squeeze the excess moisture out, then start shaping. By the way, I'm not wearing any gloves since gloves that I have at home are those plastic ones that A, don't fit my hands properly, and B, are uncomfortable to use. I just find it more effective to use my bare hands to sculpt, even if my hands smell gross afterwards. Reminder to not shape the feet too big or else it would look really weird. The feet are supposed to just look like two stubs coming out of the body, like really small. After filling in the shape, keep on piling on the body part of the shape until it reaches a desirable height. You might have to check if the height of the body is proportional to the size of the feet, so the shape of the whole figure doesn't look awkward and disproportionate. When you reach the proper height, form the goop into a dome shape to symbolize the head. You may use a popsicle stick or something to help in smoothing it out and forming the shapes easier. Once you form the body, leave it to set and dry, then move on to the other parts, the backpack and the visor. The visor and backpack are made the same way. Form two rounded rectangular figures out of mache the same way that you did with the body. Be free to hold them up against the base to find the proper measurement so they don't drown the body with their size afterwards. Once you got all the pieces done, it's time to attach them to the body. Since the visor and backpack are sort of still wet when I formed them, I just stuck them to the base with no additional stuff. Sometimes you might want to add some glue in the event that the piece is too heavy or dry to stick. A helpful tip is to tilt the crewmate to its back to A, help stick the pack using the weight of the body, or B, let the glue you applied on the visor dry up with no fear of having them fall off when you're not looking. Once everything looks stable, leave it to dry for a couple of days before painting them. Make sure it's really dry before you paint it, since the water mixture inside the mache might react badly to the paint. This is day 2 of having to dry my Among Us paper mache crewmates. As you can see, the shape, it is holding well. It's a bit cold and moist, and sometimes if I hold it, a bit of the mache sticks to my hand. A while ago it did, I just took it off already. And there we go, see? So, be very careful, I guess. It doesn't want to get... Okay, there. And yeah. So this is day 3 of waiting for the crewmate to dry. Compared to yesterday and the first day, it is significantly drier. It isn't that wet anymore. It's still a little cold and a bit soft, that if I were to press it, I can still feel that it's moving, that it's still being squished. So, but if I were to hold it up, it does stay. The shape does stay. These two aren't falling apart, but I don't want to test it, though it really looks like it's secure. And if you're actually wondering how hard or how it would feel if it was dry, this is the very first crewmate that I ever built. As you can see, the legs are way too long, which is very not nice. And if you actually hit it against the surface, yeah, it's really hard, and it's like a goddamn rock. And this is a bucket. It's the one I use to hold the mush, and this one, it's the same material. I just had this for a project, and ow, yeah. So just give it a few more hours, and it's just going to be like this. I think I'll just give it 12 hours. It's currently night right now, so sometime in the morning or in the afternoon, I might paint this already. So I'll see you then. And then we paint! So this is day 4. I'm probably going to paint this already. I mean, it's been, what, more than 12 hours since last time I saw this, so yeah, let's get to painting. Whee! You can paint these any color you want. Let your creativity out like a bull heading to ram and subsequently kill the nearest waving thing around them. That is probably a bad comparison. Story time. I actually made these figures as Christmas presents for my cousins who also play Among Us. I asked them for the usual color and hats, so the figures that I would make for them would be like custom gifts. The hats can be made with modeling clay, which I didn't have, so I am eternally grateful that my cousins picked boring styles. Like, they just gave me a color. No hat at all. Well, at least it's a bit easier though. They now use it as paperweights or desk decors, which is very nice. For the visor, I mixed blue paint with white, so it forms this kind of light blue bordering white glass look. Once that's dry, I added some white dots and lines to the corners so it looks more glass-like rather than just a solid color. My paint is limited, so I can't do the fully detailed shading of the visor, so if you can do it, then try it. Let everything dry. If the first coat is solid enough that you can't see any gaps of the gray stuff underneath, then it's basically finished. So basically, that's it. Your very own sitting Among Us crewmates. It's so cute. I still can't get over it. If you have questions, reactions, suggestions, or tips, feel free to comment them down below. If you like this or let them know, aww, and seeing these little cuties, give this a like. Or not. It's your choice. That is all. Bye bye, little sprinkles.